We are pleased to be joined by the Reverend Tim Christopher, who has weathered a long month of emotion along with everyone else. Hello, Tim.
Hey, how you doing today, Joe?
Good. How are you?
We're making it, Joe. We're making it. So,
Obviously,
see if we can
go ahead.
get to the end of this. See if we can get to the end of this thing and still have some type of power to help the people who have been hurt by all of this.
What is the end of this, Tim? What is the end of this?
Well, my end of it is to see some type of police justice reform. My end of it is to see some type of community get together with the police department so we can understand each other. And then definitely my end is for us as black people to recognize that we're killing each other just as fast as we say the police are killing us. Mm-hmm. That's my end. Mm-hmm. When it's all said and done, and that when we go out and we raid and we loot and we riot, that we're hurting people who can't do for themselves, but we don't think about that. My end is for those people who down in Brooklyn Park right now with those that's taking those apartments and basically having everybody in there, on pins and needles. I want those people to come back and heal that community. But that won't happen. But, that's my end.
Were you pleasantly surprised at how calm last evening was?
No, I wasn't. Like I said, had they brought back a verdict of not guilty, then this place would have went up in flames. It would have been an ugly situation. But because of the guilty verdict and everybody, I tweeted out there, this felt like the OJ situation. I mean, you're just sitting there waiting for the verdict to come through because you don't really know what they're going to say. Even with all of that evidence they had, still, you could get a hung jury. These Democrats didn't help with the things that they were saying. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here going, Maxine Waters just put us back years for what she came down here and to do. The things that the mayor was saying, the things that the governor was saying, they put that trial in jeopardy. So we were all sitting there going, what are they doing? Shut up. Don't say a word. Let this thing play out. But for once, let us sit back and let this play out. So, no, I wasn't surprised because it came through exactly like everybody wanted. This is, a lot of people don't see this, but this really is a big time victory. Because when is the last time you ever seen cops go against cops?
It's never happened. This is a historic first in Minnesota.
That's right. So I just hope and pray that everybody sees what actually is actually happened. And I try to talk about it as much as I possibly can to get those people who and I support the police 110%. But what I don't support is those police who feel that the system that they are under, they can go above that. That's what I don't support. But
do you think that remains true? I think that was a sea change yesterday. I'm very optimistic about reform. Very optimistic.
No, I don't. I think the police officers who come on the force now, and I know everybody's sitting here going, "Well, there's no reason for you to be a police. There's not going to be any police anymore." I believe the police that they get in now are going to recognize that we've traveled up on a system that shouldn't have been. Let's do something different. And if you approach me, Joe, as if I'm a human, and you don't give me a reason to look at your gun where your hand is, then I'm not going to act a fool. We've been harassed so much in the black community that we already expect this is how it's going to go down. So the police is on this thing going, oh, black person, this is how it's going to go down. And the black person is sitting here going, oh, white police, this is going to come down. And they clash. There's no in between, Joe. There's no the black person going, hey, officer, how you doing? And the officer going, hey, you know what? You were speeding, man. Just having a conversation or not coming up going, well, where you going? How long you been there? And I don't need to tell you where I'm going. I don't need to tell you how long I've been there. What I need to tell you is, yes, I was speeding, sir. I appreciate you coming to me with a better attitude. And let's just do this exchange, and you going about your business, and I going about my business.
Reverend, help me understand something. Help all of us understand something. Among the many dynamics we learned as a result of the last month is that there is the growing belief that we live in two different Americas. That a white motorist stopped by a police officer has nothing to fear and most generally obeys and says, yes, sir, no, sir. A black motorist stopped by a police has something to fear, does not say yes, sir, or no, sir, and it too often does not do what he's been requested to do. And thus the Dante Wright situation in Brooklyn Center 12 days ago. Where are you on that? Are we to expect young black people to do what they're asked of the police, or are we to understand that we should not expect them to do what they're asked by the police? Help me understand that.
We should expect them and everybody else to do what the police tells them to do.
Thank
you. It's like I tell my two boys, shut your mouth. Do what they say you do. Your job is to make it home. And if they've done something out of pocket, we can always go and have a conversation with whoever their boss is. But when you sit there and you want to argue with the police who's already on 9 because of your color, you will never win. And the same thing, like I was saying, the same thing should go for the police. The police shouldn't always look and go, oh, another black person I got to deal with. Mm-hmm. And then they go up there with that attitude, and the black person in the car has an attitude, and they're only going to clash. We've got to find a way, Joe, to make sure that everybody understands that the police is doing their job. They're doing their job. The police, 99.5% of the time, the police don't show up until you give them a reason to show up. And if you give them a reason to show up and you acting up, more than likely, it's not going to go well. So here's the deal. Stop doing what you're doing to have them show up. And if they do show up with some type of contrition to sit there and say, I know what I've been through. I know what I'm about to go through. I've got to be the level-headed one.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I mean, it's that simple. And if you show up and they acting up, you wait for your backup or whatever you do. There was a guy. What was a white guy? Did you see that video of the cop that jumped on the truck to stop this white guy from getting away?
I did see that. I don't know if these fellas saw it, but I saw it. Yeah,
I did not.
Okay, that's the type of policeman I want. That's not going to draw his weapon as soon as he feels, as they say, I fear for my life. This cop jumped on a vehicle that was ramming other cars.
Yeah, running
he
boards.
was ramming them to get him away. So he jumps on there instead of them doing what they definitely would have done to a black man. And you can't sit there and say they wouldn't have. They would have shot those windows out. And, no ifs, ands, or buts. I want that type of police. That if I get out of the way just a little bit, that he's going to go, you know what? Calm down. Sit down on the ground. One of the things that this guy said on Tucker Carlson last night, he said they had George Floyd on the ground. Let him sit there until you get better, somebody trained there. He wasn't doing that. They could have just let him sit right there on that ground and called somebody in and get him trained, get him in an emergency vehicle, an ambulance or something like that. And we would have been done with this situation.
I said this earlier. I would have cut to the chase long before that. I would have said to the clerk in the store, "Here's a $20 bill." I would have got back in my squad car and left.
Oh, you got. I didn't see that. Thank you, Joe.
But here's where I'm going with that. Might we see? And I'm really struggling here. I'm struggling to put these words together. Might we see literally technical changes in policing? Might we see situations where police will be instructed to not confront black motorists at a traffic stop?
I can't see that happening. I mean, they have to do their job. I think if somehow, some way we can get a dialogue started to make people understand that these guys are doing their job. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's why we want them on the street. See, I'm not about defunding the police. I'm not about taking money away from the police to be able to train good police. That's not what I'm about. I'm about the system that the police gets to put you in a chokehold. I'm about the system that, I believe that those police officers with Dante Wright saw that air freshener in his car. Mm-hmm. Now, come on. Think of it. What really is an air freshener hurting dangling from a mirror?
Nothing.
I'm 56 years old. I don't know if you know, back in the day, what black people used to do. We used to have big things of air. I mean, I'm serious. There was days I had 15 air fresheners in my car. That was for a reason. I'm just saying. Period.
You're not alone there, Rev. You're not alone.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
I think I do.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never been stopped. Nobody ever bothered me. I've never been in an accident over an air freshener.
Right.
Come on. We got to be better than that. Those cops could easily say, you know what? Man, I'm not even in the mood. Let's go get Chipotle's. We'll let him jet. We'll get him next time when we're closer to the car so we can see his tags to get him for a very reason.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Might the modern era embrace new rules, literally a list of 10 rules? Officers, when you're out and about today, you are to stop no one. I don't care what color they are. You let all air fresheners go. That's what I'm talking about. Are we going to see a new set of restrictions that will diminish the interactions between police and civilians?
Well, you brought up, we were talking on air fresheners. Yeah. There's no reason to stop somebody for an air freshener.
No, let's wipe air fresheners off the map. We don't stop for air fresheners.
Okay, so there will probably be a time that I think cops are going to start doing it themselves, going, is it worth it?
Right.
And that's a scary situation, though, because that bad person could be going to mess up somebody else's life. That could be a bad person in that car.
Yeah.
I got it, man.
We can't get there. We can't get there, Joe.
I know.
We can't get there because it's going to be worse than it is now.
So, Rev, that's the question that I wanted to ask. It's Reavers, by the way. Last night after the verdict was announced and the various press conferences took place, I was happening to watch Fox 9, and Joe's favorite Minneapolis City Council member was being interviewed, Philippe Cunningham, and basically his gist was the police reform needs to start today and it needs to continue. And his point was, if it was up to him, if it was his vision, every law enforcement officer on the street that was just maintaining traffic would not be armed. If that's the case, if Minneapolis were to institute that in the city and the vast majority of the residents of Minneapolis knew that, what would become of the city?
Dead cops.
Hey, have you guys ever looked into a kaleidoscope?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's his vision.
Yep.
Hold on, pause for laughter.
Wow.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
See, like I said, Joe, I don't have time to play with people, man. I really, really don't, because I'm tired. But that vision that city clowns have down there is so far gone. It's not even funny. Listen, they got these interrupters that they want to put out on the street. They poured them off the streets before because they got shot at. These young kids with these guns, they don't play anymore. They're hopped up on drugs. We don't have time to play what Philippe cut. We don't have time to play his game. See, he wants to take money and do other stuff with it. That's not what we need. And for him to sit here and use this here time to try to push his agenda, it's just pathetic.
Right.
This is what we need. I will say it again. We need money put into cops getting back on the streets with their boots, shaking people's hands, saying, hey, I'm good. I'm here for you. I'm here to make sure that your city is safe. The same city that, guess what? Your mayor can't do anything for it. Your governor won't do anything for it. That's what we need. We don't need all of this here, taking these cops, putting them on a hot seat every single time they go out. We need them involved in the community, even though they don't live in the community. What we need to do is put boots on the ground, have these cops walk around and talk to the community. We're taught as black kids, we're taught at a young age that guess what? Them dudes right there, they're pretty bad if they get a hold of you. You understand what I'm saying? So the police department needs to start going, no, what you've been taught at home isn't right. I'm not a bad guy. I'm a bad guy if you go do bad things. But I'm a good guy to come help you when things are going bad for you. I will shake your hand. I will talk to you. Gone are the days when the cops will ride around and give the kids the cards and all of that, stickers and that type stuff. Those days are gone. And we need that back.
Can we change the subject?
Sure.
We need an education. We need to know what you know as far as BLM goes. What we've been seeing and witnessing is BLM's name being used in acts of violence, particularly in Portland with maybe anarchists and Antifa, and then here in Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park, where we're seeing violence and we're hearing BLM being shouted. And from what I'm seeing from you, that is not the case. What is going on with BLM? Because I know you're standing beside it, and I know you have a lot of good things to say about it. What's going on here, Rev? Explain to us.
Anybody who grabs a sign that's black, notice they don't do it to the white people. There's a lot of white people with Black Lives Matter signs. You don't see them on TV. You don't see them in interviewing them at all. But they'll find someone with a Black Lives Matter shirt who just showed up at a protest, never done anything for Black Lives Matter, and that's the person they're going to interview. And that person has zero clue what's going on, so they're going to say whatever because they're on TV. Now, this weekend, when I was down in Brooklyn Park, there was a music truck where they do all the speaking from. It had a KFAN sign on that truck. Now, should I believe that KFAN support Black Lives Matter?
I don't know.
Because there was a sign. There was a sign there. So should I equate KFAN with Black Lives Matter because there was a sign? That's what people do. If you don't talk to the three heads, if people don't talk to the three heads, or if they can't name the person they're talking to, and the only thing they say is the Black Lives Matter, this and that. I made phone calls the other day to find out who was going to Burnsville. That's what was put out. All three heads of the Black Lives Matter, I know, said, no. We were at the governor's mansion. We was in Brooklyn Park at where the kid was killed, and we was at the police station. Yeah. Nobody was going down there.
No, it's good.
But because the reporter found somebody and said, oh, what's going on? And they said, well, we heard about the Burnsville killing. Maybe we're going down there. That reporter took that and ran with it.
Yeah.
So now all the white people who hate Black Lives Matter gets this thing that said, well, they were going to go, but they found out it was a white person. We don't even protest for our own black people who carjacked. Why would we go down all the way down to Burnsville, to protest a carjacker. Why would
Yeah.
nobody ever talks about when we're marching for Justine Diamond's family, a white woman that was killed by a black man. Their family came to Black Lives Matter and asked that. Nobody talks about that. But it's all this other stuff. Look, I'm not saying that everybody in Black Lives Matter is all good. I never said that. What I'm saying is the people that I've stood right beside and hand food to a white mother with 3 kids who didn't have anything, those people I go with. Now, these people that want to act a fool and throw frozen water at the cops and throw cans at the cops, no, no way in the world am I going to put up for them. Ever. Those are silly, stupid people.
How do we stop it, Rev? How do we stop it? I know if we saw this happening, the 4 of us on this show saw this happening with people wearing GL shirts or signs, we'd go hunt them down. You know, we'd put a stop to this. We're very proprietary. How does BLM stop this?
And that's one of the things that they're looking in to do, is trying to find a way to say, okay, we've got to not only separate from the ignorant people here in Minnesota, but the national also. Because, like I said, the national has jumped the shark. With all the money these people have taken in, I haven't seen one dime come to the Black Lives Matter here that they use the money that they sell T-shirts and signs to help people.
They're buying houses, Rev. They're buying houses.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what they're doing. So what people always do is they get it crooked. They get it mixed up. The Black Lives Matter here in Minnesota, who are doing it, who are driving people to stores, old people to stores, who are taking them to get their medicine. I've been with them when they've done this. Now, if they start acting a fool and start going out here, talking about burning this building down, talking about doing this, doing that, no, I cannot have anything to do with people like that. But this is what I can tell you. Don't let some of these here boneheads out here, these thugs out here, fool you. Don't let, and they have been, Todd Gant have been saying, I've got to find a way to get from up under this ugly stigma that the news media and everybody has put on me because like he said, he goes, I have never burnt the place. I've never looted. No one in my organization has never done this here. But every time someone sees a Black Lives Matter shirt, they're yelling at me, look at the looter, look at the rioter. He goes, that's not me. I don't do that. Mm-hmm. So they're working to try to turn this thing around. But you got the white people who hate Black Lives Matter to no end because whether you like them or not, whether the things that they was doing, they are making a change is coming, and it's because they are pushing the narrative to make things right. Well, you know, whether you like them or not, I don't like some of the things that they do, but I know that some of those people out there who's doing those things are not Black Lives Matter. And just like I told them, you guys have to clean your name up. You got to clean it because nobody is going to back you if you let these people take over and all of a sudden, you know, and then they one group let Antifa come in.
Yeah.
And so Antifa got Black Lives Matter signs now.
Yeah.
So you understand what
I got
And
you.
what I'm seeing out in Portland now, Reverend, is Antifa and Black Lives Matter are at war with each other for that very reason, because the Black Lives Matter is trying not to be violent, and Antifa is, and they've so there's a big war within factions out in Portland.
Yeah, we loot. I've said it many times. You something breaks out. Sure enough, we're gonna go find a Nike store. We're gonna find a liquor store and a Dollar General and a grocery store. We loot. We don't burn.
Yeah.
We don't. You don't see us burn because we realize they're not putting it back. So why?
I want to clarify. I want to clarify that you personally don't loot.
No, I don't.
Thank you.
No, I've never looted, and I'll say it again.
Rev, from what I saw on your Twitter account today, if you were going to loot, it would be bacon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
You-
ridiculous. Come on, man. $6.
You and I had the same thought when we woke up today. I opened my eyes and thought, "Oh my God, I need bacon right now."
$6. I'm like, man, I'm sitting there paying the $6 for this bacon, going, I don't really need this. And then I said to myself, yes, I do, and I paid the
Yes,
money,
you
but I'm gonna complain.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate a calm summer?
Let's see how this next trial goes.
Yep.
So we're there now. The worst thing that could have happened was for that situation with that kid to happen. The worst thing that could have happened, because now we're going into summer with them calling. They marched down to Stillwater, got in front of the dude's house, and was demanding that he raise the charges. Mm-hmm. Well, if he don't raise the charges, we're going into summer, and they're going to keep doing what they're doing, and yeah, it's gonna. Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
if the officer that shot Dante Wright, Kim Potter, if she pled guilty from the get-go, do you think that would calm the waters?
Yeah, I think she should take a plea deal.
Yeah.
I think she should take a plea deal, because the way things are going right now, even if she takes a stand and say she's not guilty, and we go through a trial, if it don't come out the way people want, period.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you know, and I feel like, and I'll say it again, and I've said it on when I'm on Twitter, I feel sorry for that woman. I really, honestly do. I believe she was just in the moment, and she made a mistake. I know people sitting there going, "Oh, how can you make a mistake from a gun, and you got to go over here, you got to go over there, and all this here type of stuff." You know, she's training somebody. She's got all of this here stuff going on. It was a mistake. It's a mistake that should she pay a price for it? Yes, she should.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. You're a 26-year-old veteran. I understand when people say you get this tunnel vision and all of this here stuff going on, but I'm sorry. Should she spend the rest of her life in no. I give her a few years under Noor, what Noor got. You know, he did the same thing. He shot the woman that came out the car, slapped the back of the car. He pulls the trigger. He's in jail.
Yep.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's how it has to go down. But
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, Rev. I don't call that an accident. That's when it comes to firearms, that's negligence. You know, it's a mistake. It's negligence. It's not an accident. Accidents are not tolerated with firearms in my world.
Well, yeah, that's true, and I understand. I understand what you're saying.
But we all know what the Reverend means.
But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I know. Oh, yeah. I know where you're coming from.
I'm not trying to make light of the situation. In no way, it was a bad situation. I just look at it and I said in that way. Could those police have stepped back and just let that kid go and go, hey, we got his registration, we know where his mom lives, and the whole 9 yards. Let's pick him up tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Let's just go wait outside his house. We'll get him tomorrow, and they have done that before. You understand? I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many ways we can play this, man. There's so many things we can say that, hey, if he hadn't done what he did, if he would have just been a man and just stood there, got arrested, and did his time like a man should do, we can definitely say that also at the end of the day. So there's so much to say about that situation that which way is right. We don't know, but we're in this season now where she's got to go and do some time. She's got it. Her life has changed forever, just like his life.
Sure is.
At the end of the day. So,
Well, sir, we'll enjoy talking to you all summer. How's that?
that sounds like a deal. You know, I'm here for you guys, man. Anytime you want to chit-chat.
Hang in there, man. You get into it a lot on Twitter. Don't be afraid to turn Twitter off a night or two a week. Take a break.
And
I don't
also,
know how you can get to sleep at night, man.
Also, Rev, give us the information if people want to make a donation to all the good things that you do. Please take a minute to promote that right now.
So that's going to be shepherdsworksmn.org. One of the things that the wife and I are working on right now is once everybody moved from in front of the Brooklyn Park Police Station, there are 4 duplexes, 4 apartment buildings back there that has elderly people in there. We're going to be asking for donations, and we're also going to be asking for boots on the ground. So we got something for our fam to do, and we're going to hit those apartment buildings, and we're going to soothe some of these people's angst, and we're just going to let them know that we're here for them. We understand what they just went through. They was out there until late last night, and you got kids who has to go to school in the morning. And here they are making all that noise. It's 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and kids have to go to school. See, people don't think about that. You got elderly people who want to go to sleep. People don't think about that. So we're going to hit those. We're going to hit those buildings really hard. So if anybody wants to be a part of that, to do some good, feel good to help somebody else, that's our website. They can always hit me up also on Twitter, and we can go from there.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I thank you guys very much. I so appreciate you.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Take it easy,
Thanks,
Rev.
Rev.
All right.
See you, Rev.
Guys.